Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video we're going to go through the Forex Market Wrap. We're going to highlight some of the currency pairs that we talked about this week and how they performed. So let's go on to the news. However, first it is or was a very big news week, or very high impact news week. We had lots of data out and really started to kick off on Tuesday. However, the most important data this week, I think, was the FOMC statement at the federal funds rate and the FOMC press conference. Now, they did hike interest rates to 25 basis points and basically talked about the fact that we are now in a what they call a deflationary state, which means that inflation is coming down. Okay, now the one thing that they did want to, however, stress is the fact that they need to remain flexible, which is why we are only going to see 25 basis points hike. Now, the reason they wanted to stay flexible was because of this data down here, the non-farm payroll data. So you can see the average hourly earnings month on month, non-farm payroll, and the unemployment rate. Now, what they want to see is these numbers coming down, and that's exactly what we didn't see. Now, you can see here the average hourly earnings were up, revised to 0.4%, expected at 0.3%. So they came out the same. We then had the jobs number, which was expected to be 260. Revised, up to 260, was meant to be 193, came out at 517, so a huge jump in jobs, which is not what they want to see really at the moment. They want to see the jobs number coming down, and that hasn't happened. Instead, we've seen jobs jump, and the unemployment rate, which they wanted to see rise, has also gone up. So the dollar's actually strengthened off the back of this little bit of data here, and that's because of one or two things. One thing, it's a really good jobs data number. We've got unemployment falling, we have average hourly earnings staying the same, and the employment change moving upwards. But then we've got the fact that that could then put pressure on the Fed. Now, the Fed will be looking at this data and thinking, do we need to hike a little bit more aggressively? So that's what that's quite a shocking number, really, considering we were expecting this data to start to come down now, or forecasts were suggesting that the data would start to come in lower. So that's quite a shocking bit of news. We also had some news out of the UK as well, which was an interest rate rise from 3.5% to 4%. I think the Bank of England reluctantly hiked interest rates by 50 basis points, so I don't think we'll see much in the way of larger rate rises beyond this 4%. However, obviously we don't know what the future is going to hold there, but they are expecting inflation to start to move lower as we hike more aggressively. ECB, on the other hand, they hiked interest rates to 3% from 2.5%. Again, they're talking about further hikes, more 50 basis points hikes to come. So they remain fairly strong on that one. But yeah, really interesting data towards this or this week. It's been a very tricky trading week as well. So if you have managed to beat the market this week, then well done to you. Now, dollar index, we were looking at an interesting development, really. We were looking to see if price would hold below the 101 spot 50, trade down to the $99 level, and then maybe bounce in and around that area. We also talked about the fact that we did expect a bit of a pullback this week, because the price action was suggesting that we've got these two slowdown weeks into the 101 spot 50. It was just so happened it was such a big news week, and price failed at the 101.50 now, and if it closes like this, then I would expect the dollar to start rising back to the upside here with a move back to the 103 spot 75 handle. Going on to Aussie US dollar then, so this was another market to watch this week. Aussie was fairly strong. However, again, we kind of talked about the fact that it does look overextended here, and what we would ideally want to see was price to come back to the 0 spot 68.75 to then look for the continuations to the upside. And we did in fact reject the 0 spot 71 handle here, and it looks like we're closing bearish. So moving into next week, I'd be looking for potential downside into the 0 spot 68.75. Dollar yen was another one to watch for us this week. The yen fairly weak at the moment, and we were looking to see if that would continue. It actually strengthened throughout the week until the NFP report today, and we've seen dollar yen push back higher. But this 131 level is the key area for us, or 131.50, just slightly above. I think if price trades above that, it will open the door for a move up to the 135. Maybe we'll find resistance at 135 and price will push lower from there. Maybe we'll find resistance at the 131 here. But at the moment, it looks like we're breaking out of a bearish channel, which could lead to some further upside. Finally then, pound yen. Pound yen was one to watch. We were talking about long opportunities above the 162. Price did not get above 162, so our long ideas this week were not on the table. Price failed to break through these highs here, and again, this is why we combine sort of the fundamentals with the technicals, because at the time the pound was strong and the yen was weakening, so I was looking to see if price would trade higher. However, the technicals were telling us that price was at a resistance level, so we can't look for the longs until we get one or two things happening. That would be a retest of the range lows, or price trading through the resistance zone and moving higher. So 162 seemed to be the sticking point for price. We've then traded lower on the Bank of England announcement as well, and it looks like this is going to continue in the short term. Perhaps we will see price return back to 156. But we'll talk about that in the next video on the week ahead analysis. I hope you enjoyed all the content this week. I hope you had a successful trading week. Thank you for all your comments, likes and subscriptions this week. Really appreciate that. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you in the next video.